Hi, I'm Wendell Steinhauer, President of the New Jersey Education Association. NJEA is committed to celebrating excellence in education. That's why we're proud to support Teacher Appreciation Week, a special series produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation celebrating New Jersey's talented and dedicated teachers.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities, Virtua, MagnaCare, and by Cohn Resnick, Accounting, Tax, and Advisory, where forward thinking creates results.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Steve Adubato. It's very good to have you here. Very good to have you out there. For the first time joining us, you are a star in the musical scene.
Wow, thank you.
And it's an honor to have Julio Fernandez, who is a jazz guitarist with Spyro Gyra. For those who don't know, great band for a lot of years. Describe you guys.
Many years. Band's 40 years old. I've been with them for 30 of those 40 years.
What are you, a rookie?
Yeah. For a while, I was the new guy on the block. Yeah?
Describe the music.
Jazz fusion, contemporary jazz. It's been smooth jazz, but we like contemporary jazz.
And the connection for us is with our partners at the New Jersey Education Association. You're about to see a clip from a great series called Classroom Close-Up. You're featured in that. You went back to your high school.
It was an awesome experience.
Hoboken High?
Yes, sir.
You jammed with some of the kids there?
Jammed with the kids. Saw my old high school teacher.
Who was that?
John Cuzzo.
John Cuzzo?
Yes.
What, did he influence you?
Totally.
Big influence.
Big influence.
So we're going to see the story on Classroom Close-Up. We'll come back and talk to you a little bit about your experience at Hoboken High, and also you had a terrific award. You're recognized by the New Jersey Education Association for all that you've done. And I see you jamming with the kids at Hoboken High. Let's take a look at Classroom Close-Up.
If anybody feels like playing a little rhythm, go ahead.
There's an old saying, you can't go home again. But for Julio Fernandez, it's just not true.
At one time in my life, sat in those very chairs.
Julio is a renowned jazz guitarist who recently visited his alma mater to jam with some music students.
A little shaker.
And to see some old friends.
Wow. Whoa, look who's here. Wow.
Hey, guys.
There you go.
In the early 1970s, Gary Enrico and Julio Fernandez were students in John Cuzzo's band class here at Hoboken High.
Thank you. You as well. What? All right. Wow.
And
look at that.
This is an old shot in color.
the band.
This is kind of rare.
Mr. Cuzzo and his former students reminisced about old times in the marching band.
Gary, wow, look at that.
I didn't change.
Mr. Cuzzo has since retired. Gary followed in John's footsteps and became a teacher and band director, while Julio went on to become the guitarist for the Grammy-nominated jazz group Spyro Gyra.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take your broken wings and learn to fly.
I think you need to lead them or set them in a direction where they're going to meet success. And he has, certainly, in his career. But then he was sharing success with the kids earlier.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take your sunken eyes and learn to see.
I have the highest respect for him. We were, classmates. We were friends from when we were probably 7, 8 years old. And to see someone make it, it means a lot, even just to know him, say I know this guy, and, it was my pleasure today, really.
Into the light of a dark black night.
It's just a wonderful feeling, because it's a two-way street. You know, you're a performer or you're a teacher or you're giving, you know, what you get back is just as good, you know, or better, because it's just to see the reaction in the face of accomplishing something. It's the face of awe, right? It's like, wow, it's a magic happening. So it's beautiful. I found my home here. I felt like home.
You were only waiting for this moment to rise.
How great. How great.
Awesome. It was a very special
Why?
moment. Just to be back in that room, so many memories and struggles and learning music and just a time in my life where, you know, 15, 16, 17 years old, you're trying to find your way. And had a very special teacher that saw something and helped me develop it. It's beautiful.
Somewhat emotional for you?
It totally was. Just hadn't seen Mr. Cuzzo in 40 years.
40.
You know, it's a long time, and just felt like yesterday. Really.
Teachers matter a lot.
They sure do. They sure do.
It's funny. Teachers teach the material. They teach. There's a whole discussion going on about what teachers are supposed to teach in terms of tests that are coming up, and that's a whole different subject. But teachers do more than teach subject matter. They inspire and they motivate, and they give kids at this very vulnerable age and time in their lives confidence. Is that what they do?
Yeah, confidence. Confidence. I mean, I remember in those days I was playing beside guitar, because I started playing guitar when I was 8. But in high school, they didn't have guitar in the public system at that time. So I gravitated towards brass instruments, and I wanted to play in the tuba, which is a lot bigger than me in those days. But I remember Mr. Cuzzo recognizing that, okay, I was a guitar player, really. And
at the core?
At core, yeah. And we would do theory classes, and after school, we'd listen to jazz records. And he was very influential in so many ways. So you're right, the teachers, it's more than just teaching the curriculum. It's nurturing.
Do you feel you owe something?
I do. It's nice. That's why it felt so great. It was very emotional for me to go back to Hoboken High.
What did you see in those kids?
I saw myself.
Did you really?
I did. There were some kids that just connected. That was obviously a shortened version of the piece.
Sure.
There was one spot there that one of the kids was jamming on harmonica with me, and another one was playing the guitar, and he picked up on a Jimi Hendrix lick.
Wow.
And
how would you know that?
He said that's all he knew about Hendrix was this lick, but he wanted to impress me. So it really, you know, it felt wonderful. It was just, you know, just going back and seeing that face, that wonderment, you know, that excitement about music and someone coming in and visiting and taking the time.
So in 1961, you come from Cuba?
Yes.
To the United States?
The United States, to Hoboken, New Jersey.
Right to Hoboken,
right? To Hoboken.
Yeah, right. And then you live this incredible life and a lot of trials and tribulations, and you join this great band and make a great contribution to the musical and entertainment scene in this country. But then the New Jersey Education Association honors you, recognizes you, right? Describe that award.
Well, when I found out about it, I actually found out through a friend that had gone to one of the meetings at the NJEA and said, "I think you're up for some kind of award." I said, "Okay," you know. So we found out about it. And then they had reached out to my manager, the Spyro Gyra manager, and so we set it up, and they wanted to tape me receiving the award because I couldn't make the convention. Right. I was going to be on the road, and it's funny, when that happened, they said, "Well, we're going to have to pass on you because we always want to have the person that's going to receive the award present at
Sure.
the convention." And I said, "You know, the irony in that is that giving me an award for something.
It's your work.
It's my work, and I'm going to be on the road in Europe, and now you don't want to give it. So they said, okay, let's talk about this, and I wound up getting it. So they came to the high school, and it was just a wonderful honor. Just, I don't know, it was like emotional and
well deserved.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I very appreciate it.
To our friends at the NJEA, New Jersey Education Association,
Yes.
good choice, and we appreciate everything you've done, not just in the musical industry, but more importantly for those kids at Hoboken High. And I'm sure it was a special day, not just for you, but for them and for your former teacher.
That was wonderful, yes.
What's his name again? That teacher?
John Cuzzo.
Got to give him respect.
I totally do.
Got it. Listen, Julio Fernandez, a jazz guitarist with Spyro Gyra. I want to thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Steve, for having me.
Stay with us. One-on-one. We'll be right back right after this. We are here with Pasi Sahlberg, who is the keynote speaker here at the NJEA convention. He's the author of Finnish Lessons, What Can the World Learn from Educational Change in Finland? It is an honor to have you. How are you liking Atlantic City so far?
Well, this is my first time in this city, and I came here last night, so I saw all the lights. It looks beautiful. I haven't seen the boardwalk that everybody's talking about, but I'm enjoying my time.
Well, it's an honor to have you here with us at the NJEA convention. Pasi has been speaking about, spoke today, this morning, to thousands of NJEA conventioneers about Finnish education. I have to ask you, at the core, what would you say some of the most significant Finnish lessons are that the rest of us need to learn about education?
I think probably on the top of my head is the importance of equity in education, and this people often misunderstand what equity means. In Finland, it means that we want to have a school system that is good and great for everybody, every child. So we try to design the school system so that particularly those children who come from homes where the circumstances and situations are not so favorable for learning would have an opportunity to be successful in the school. And these school systems look very different compared to many of the school systems here in the United States, where the excellence and quality seems to be driving the work of the school. So I think this equity in education is one of those things. And secondly, obviously, how do we define teaching profession? How do we understand the work of teachers?
How's it different?
Well, in Finland, we perceive our teachers a little bit like you do your medical doctors and lawyers, in terms of providing them a high-quality academic, research-based education. We are not allowing any alternative pathways, training programs into teaching. There's only one academic university-based program, just like you have for your medical doctors and lawyers. And that's why I think we probably have much more professional unity in Finland among our teachers and educational leaders than you have here in America.
But there's more than that. I mean, as I read about your work, you also say that there's an issue about testing. Talk about this and the differences in terms of, in Finland, how student testing plays out, and how you perceive it to be played out in the United States.
Yeah, this is a common question about the student assessment and standardized testing, particularly in my country. I'm often telling people that we are not having standardized testing at all, actually. We only have one standardized examination at the very end of the high school when our students are already 18 or 19 years old. So the question is that, so how do we assess, evaluate what the students are doing?
How do you?
Well, we trust our teachers pretty much, just like you trust most of your medical doctors and some of your lawyers, that you don't go and question the quality of their work. So we trust that the teachers are the best people who are able to tell and report how the kids are learning. And then we have the sample-based way of reporting and answering our legislators, our members of the parliament, when they want to know whether the taxpayers' money is well spent. So it's just a little bit like your Lenape, your national assessments here in the United States, where we take samples of schools and kids and then evaluate those things. You know, I can tell you one thing that makes me always kind of a surprise here in your great country, and it is that how central place standardized testing has been given and that it is right now in the United States.
What's the downside of that, Pasi?
There are many downsides there. I think probably the most critical one is that it's really taking too much time away from children, from learning, and too much time from teachers to teach. I hear when I walk around this convention here, people tell me that they spend up to 1/3 of the school year on teaching the testing or testing-related issues here, and I think just a stupid that you are spending so much time on collecting data and testing kids when they should be learning something. In Finland, on the other hand, we are spending no time for standardized testing, so we can allocate this 100% of the schedule that we have for teachers and students to learning things. But just think about if you lose 1/3 of your school year for something that has nothing or very little to do with learning, it's no wonder that the learning outcomes and achievement is not at the level where you want it to be.
Pasi, I want to follow up on that. What evidence is there that students in Finland later on achieve more, have more successful lives, their quality of their lives are better? Talk about that.
Well, it's a great question. How
does one measure that?
Yeah, well, and this gets back to the question of what is the purpose of education.
Absolutely.
And that's why, because in Finland we do not believe that the main purpose of education is to have high test scores and measure the academic or part of the academic achievement only. I think the purpose of education is to individual fulfillment, that people can be happy and discover who they are, what they want to do, and also in Finland that the whole nation, the public, will benefit from education. That's why we call it a public education in Finland. But if you take a look at some of the other international indicators where Finland and America, United States, and many other countries are taking part. For example, take a look at the happiness, how happy people are. Finland is continuously scored as one of the happiest nations, happiest people in the world. Or you may take a look at the economic competitiveness, where United States and Finland are compared. Finland has been continuously during the last 15 years one of the most economically competitive nations. We are number one in innovation and technology around the world. So I think these probably don't kind of suggest that this is all because of education, but they certainly speak about the kind of overall good performance that Finland has, and education certainly has a big role to play in that.
You're not implying that those of us in New Jersey are not happy enough, are you?
No, New Jersey people seem to be very happy.
We're different, right?
You're different, but you look like a happy folks.
Yeah, a couple more minutes that we have here. I want to make sure we take advantage of this. At this convention, you see thousands of educators and others connected to the world of education. What do you sense about educators in this state from your time, not just as a keynote speaker, but just walking the floor of this convention hall?
Well, I meet many people asking questions, and they probably ask questions when they know that I come from a very different culture, and many people are asking, is there any hope here?
Is there?
Is there any hope? Yeah,
we want to know. Is there?
No, I think you have more hope than any other country other than Finland has in education, because many of these ideas that we have used, or Canadians have used, or Singaporeans or Chinese have used when they have been building these school systems and education systems that are now outperforming United States, are American ideas.
Hold on, Pasi's saying that a lot of the things that are working in Finland were our ideas to begin with?
No, I'm not only saying that, but I'm saying that if you don't believe that the American educational innovations are good enough for America, just come and see Finland, and I can show you how American ideas and innovation in education work in a large scale. So that's where the hope comes from, that you have all these elements, you have all these ideas, you even have all these people and research in this country that can make your education system perform much, much better than it does. So that's what, if you were depending on educational ideas and innovations and methods and models, just like we had been, or Singaporeans had been during the course of the last 20, 30 years, then you would be in trouble. But you have everything here. And you have the money, you have the resources here that you spend in education. You already spend more in education than we do, or many other countries do. So, if you were poor, that you had the problem was that you don't have money to do these things, then I think then we would be speaking about lack of hope and problem. You guys have everything here. Just
You got great people too.
yeah, you have great people, and you have this, the thing that we do not have. America has this can-do mentality, that if you really want to do, if you want to send a man to the moon, you can do that. If you want to change the school system and thinking how people think about education and public education, you can do that. So now the question is, are your politicians and authorities and those people who have the power able to change the way they think? That I don't know.
Thank you so much, Pasi. You honor us by your speech, your time, and your commitment to education. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
John Scala is Planetarium Director and Science Teacher at Lenape Valley Regional High School. He's been there for 27 great years. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking, and thank you for having me.
You love it there.
Absolutely. I don't go to work. Never have, not in 27 years.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
This is part of our Classroom Close-Up partnership with the NJEA. About to see a video of John and his folks doing some great work. You got this planetarium there, 53-seat planetarium.
Correct.
Since 1987, it's been going around. I said that you had 63,000 visitors. You said, no, it's 64,000.
As of the close of the current school year, yeah.
Why don't we do this? Let's take a look at the video that tells the story. Then we'll come back and you'll talk more.
When you're outside with your mom and dad, when you're outside by yourself, when you're outside and it's the nighttime, there's a lot of cool things you can see. You don't need a rocket ship. You don't need to be an astronaut. You don't need to be a grown-up. You could do it all by yourself tonight. And that's what Penny's going to show us now, what the nighttime sky will look like.
Penny is the nickname that Planetarium Director John Scala uses to refer to this projector that helps him explain the universe to thousands of students each year.
A planetarium's a special kind of auditorium and movie theater, but instead of projecting a movie, we project the night sky. The ceiling of a planetarium is dome-shaped, like a cereal bowl turned upside down over your head. What we do is project the stars, the planets, and other space-related items. And with other projectors, we can put spaceships or rockets or comets or other space-related phenomenon on the ceiling.
You would probably expect to find a planetarium in a large city, like the Hayden Planetarium in New York or the Adler Planetarium in Chicago, but this one happens to be located inside Lenape Valley Regional High School.
I've never been in the planetarium before this year, but when I learned that we had the class in the planetarium, it really excited me because just to have that in the school, it sets us apart from other schools.
My day's made brighter when I have the kindergartners or the first graders or the elementary school kids. When the sunshine flies across outer space and smacks into noseland. Daytime or nighttime?
Daytime.
Right. But what about over here in ponytail land? The banter, the back and forth, the question and answer, the misconceptions, the oohs and the ahs. It just makes my whole day. The Earth does this too. Between teaching, using the planetarium, and using my passion day in and day out, I can pretty honestly say I've never had to go to work a day in my life. It's always been fun.
During his 27 years as planetarium director, Scala has inspired many students to pursue studies in astronomy and other sciences.
What interests me the most about astronomy is just the fact that it never ends. There's always something else you can learn, and you can never know everything about it, and that fascinates me.
A textbook can be a wonderful thing. A fantastic teacher can be a wonderful thing. But a chalk or a marker or a costume only takes you so far. When I can put the universe literally within reach of their fingers, just by lifting their head and they can see what we're talking about and discussing, it just reaches out and grabs that imagination that sometimes older kids don't want to admit that they have, but it's been lying there just waiting to be found, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that.
You looking out into space when you see that? What are you feeling?
I'm feeling so good right now.
Why?
Students I've had who just graduated that I'm going to miss. Another generation of learners who are coming through. My legacy is going to be when those kids look up at the night sky in the future and say, I remember Orion, or I remember the Big Dipper, or I don't remember that fella's name, but he showed me that that's planet Mars or that's planet Jupiter, and that'll get passed on. It's not very practical, but it's here, and that's what's important to me.
Is it personal to you?
Yes, very much so.
Someone says it's a job, it's a profession, you say?
Helping kids to learn, obviously, is part of going to school, obviously. Teaching them how to learn is even more important. They may not necessarily remember the lesson, but they'll remember how to learn the material. Because somewhere along the line, they're going to have to learn how to do this, how to do that, whatever it is, wherever they go. Now, if they can remember some of the astronomy along the way, I'd be more than thrilled. I think any teacher would.
When did you know it would be science and teaching for you? Teaching science.
Not too many people believe this, but it was at age 10. I got my first telescope. It sounds very cliche, but my folks brought a telescope from a cousin who had no longer had any use for it, brought it home. And Mom and I would always sit out in the summer for the Perseid meteor shower. If there was something going on, Dad or someone would wake me up early, would look out the window. And I went to college knowing from my first step onto the campus that astronomy is what it was going to be.
How do you not get bored?
I'm asked that quite often, and I kind of compare it to a Broadway actor. You know, that person hits that Broadway stage and they're saying the same line over and over again for 500 performances. But every time a student walks into the planetarium, that's that child's first experience. They don't care that it's my 1000th.
That's what Nathan Lane says, you know.
I didn't.
When he was doing the Matthew Broderick, what is it, guys? Help me. Oh, my Broadway. When he was doing the producers, they said, how do you not get bored? He said, what, are you kidding me? It's the first time that husband and wife came in from Nebraska.
Absolutely.
It's not their first time. I mean, it's their first time, right? So for me, I've got to give them everything I've got. Same thing?
That's exactly it. Exactly.
Same thing?
Same thing.
You give them, what about if you're tired, you've done the same lesson plan for how many years, you got to give them everything.
There's a sense of showmanship that goes on. It's not the social studies teacher, it's not the math teacher, it's not the foreign language teacher. There's a show being presented. Each lesson is a performance more than it is a lesson.
Someone says science boring, you say?
Oh, no way. No way. If I can't get a kid interested in something during my class, whether it's through the inflection of a voice, doing a Yoda impersonation, showing them something that's going on, getting a laugh or a giggle, thank you very much. I mean, that kid's just not reachable.
Were you born to do this?
I believe so. I've been told by several superintendents that I missed my calling because I'm pretty good with the little ones. But no, my calling is I can reach the little ones as much as I can reach the senior citizens.
You reach a lot of people, and you reach a lot of people with us, John, and I cannot thank you enough. And you're a great educator and a great person. Thank you very much.
You're my pleasure. Thank you very much.
That was great.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo, NJIT, PSE&G, Virtua, MagnaCare, and by Cone Resnick. Promotional support provided by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and by Politicker NJ. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.